Hi there, and welcome to the Daily Gardener, an almanac of garden history, literature, and small botanical joys. I'm Jennifer Ebling, and today is January 22nd. Before we step fully into today's garden history, here's a brief note from the Weather Ledger. It was on this day in 1985 that a deep cold wave swept through Florida, destroying nearly 90% of the state's citrus crop. Years of growth lost in a single night. It's a reminder gardeners understand well. Abundance is always provisional. Here's today's garden history. It was on this day in 1561 that Francis Bacon was born. He gave us one of the most enduring garden essays ever written, called Of Gardens. Bacon didn't treat gardening as a pleasant aside. He called it, quote, the purest of human pleasures, the greatest refreshment to the spirits of man. Bacon imagined the truly learned life as one that required more than books: a garden, a library, a laboratory, and a cabinet of curiosities, a place for wonder, objects, and close observation. Bacon had the kind of sensibility gardeners recognize instantly, that learning isn't just what you read, it's what you notice. It's what you tend to, what you return to day after day. And Bacon also understood this, that tending living things disciplines the mind. Nature, he wrote, to be commanded must be obeyed. So today, if winter has you feeling a little cramped indoors, Bacon is basically giving you permission to treat green things like medicine. And it was on this day in 1831 that Francis Guthrie was born. He's remembered for asking a deceptively simple question in 1852 while coloring a map. What is the minimum number of colors needed so that no neighboring regions touch? That curious question became known as the four-color problem, and it puzzled mathematicians for more than a century until computers finally confirmed Guthrie's solution in 1976. And the answer, again, was four colors. But Guthrie himself never saw that resolution. He published little. He moved to South Africa. He taught. He collected plants. He lectured on botany. And he lived a life of attention to detail rather than acclaim. Plants were later named in his honor, living things carrying forward the memory of a man who noticed patterns, boundaries, and relationships. Guthrie's story began the way so many garden insights do, with someone looking closely, noticing edges, adjacency, patterns. The same habits gardeners practice every day. So today's history gives us two companions. Bacon, who argued that green space restores the spirit, and Guthrie, who shows how careful looking can quietly reshape how we understand the world. In today's Unearthed Words, we hear an excerpt from the assistant head gardener at Anglesey Abbey, David Jordan. It was on this day in 2015 that The Guardian shared a bit of his winter garden design wisdom. Jordan's advice was simple and bracing. The winter garden succeeds not by excess, but by clarity. Start with a tree whose bark holds the light. Add a shrub that offers scent or color when little else does. Let the ground rest. At Anglesey, one of the most powerful sights is a stand of West Himalayan birches. those pale trunks against dark earth. Nothing competing. Nothing hurried. Winter, like good design, rewards restraint. It's time to grow that garden library with today's book, People with Dirty Hands, published in 1996 by Robin Chotsanoff. Chotsanoff is a journalist by training, and this book is built from portraits of gardeners, gardens, and moments rather than instructions. The book quietly reveals why people keep gardening long after logic says they should stop. Chotsanoff writes, "Gardening is all there is while you're doing it." And also this quote, "There are no child prodigy gardeners." Chotsanoff's book reinforces garden wisdom through a series of intimate profiles. One of the most memorable is Zelma, who spends her days at a picnic table beneath a grape arbor, shelling peas, writing letters, and refusing to move indoors as she ages. As Chotsanoff puts it, "The older she got," she said, "the less she wanted to be inside." People with Dirty Hands reminds us of something gardeners already know. You cannot rush a garden. You cannot dominate it. You must grow alongside it, season after season. And finally, here's something sweet to ignite the little botanic spark in your heart. It was on this day in 1953 that British television aired the very first episode of Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men. The premise was simple, almost impossibly so. There was a little house, and around the little house, a beautiful garden. While the gardener stepped away for his dinner, 2 terracotta flower pots at the bottom of the garden came quietly to life. Bill and Ben. Between them grew their small companion, Little Weed. A smiling, nodding presence who never moved far, rooted firmly in place, watching everything. And when footsteps returned, they slipped back into stillness, just in time. What made Bill and Ben endure wasn't the story. It was the faith it placed in the garden, the idea that a garden has its own inner life. That when we turn our backs, something tender carries on. The flower pots might talk, weeds might listen, and nothing truly important needs to hurry. For many children, this was an early lesson. Gardens are not decorations. They are inhabited. They are places where patience matters, where small lives are worthy of attention, where even a weed has a voice and a place. And perhaps that's why the closing line of the show always lingered. And I think the little house knew something about it. Don't you? Gardens still know things we don't. They keep watch. They wait. They remember us when we forget ourselves. That quiet assurance that something gentle is continuing just out of sight may be the sweetest gift a garden gives. As we close the show today and we move through January, spare, cold, and honest, it helps to remember this. Not everyone changes the world loudly. Some do it by paying attention, by getting their hands dirty, by noticing what belongs and what doesn't. Gardens understand this instinctively. They make room. They allow small things to grow where they will, even weeds, especially weeds. Like little weed quietly watching from between the pots, the winter garden keeps its counsel. The garden notices us, even when we forget to notice it. That's it for today's show. And remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day.